How's it going, John?
Oh, it's going okay. I've had a bit of a frustrating day, but
There's always tomorrow.
there is always tomorrow. So it's okay. Started out with me. I went out and we've been so busy lately that I've got like just hours and hours and hours of tractor work that I need to do, mowing and stuff like that. And it's not going to happen this weekend because I've got other plans. But earlier this morning, I thought I'd go out and catch an hour of work while it was still kind of cool out, and I caught the corner of some landscape fabric with the flail mower and made a bit of a mess.
I can imagine.
And then this evening, I instead of doing the one errand I wanted to do, I was doing 3 other errands in order to accomplish the one that I needed to do, and serenity now. So it's okay. It's okay. It's good to talk to you. This is the last thing I'm going to do before I go up and kind of pull the curtain on this day. But it's okay. How about you? I hope that you have had a better day.
My day was just fine. I will work backwards for the weekend through the beginning of the weekend, because today we got all the appliances officially installed. So I have
you have a kitchen,
a refrigerator that has water. The little water in the fridge. I have a stove
that works.
Still needs a little bit of clean up and stuff, but it turns on.
Okay.
Flames come out of the top.
Flame is good.
Dishwasher. Yesterday, the plumbing was done. So we have plumbing. We can actually do our dishes in the dishwasher instead of the bathtub now.
Having a dishwasher
that's
works.
A positive. Yeah, that's a positive. So kitchen done.
Almost.
Monday. Yeah, kitchen done enough, right? Close enough.
Okay.
It's usable for, anyways. Monday, my boy and I hiked Mount St. Helens.
That's right.
You mentioning that you wanted to get out before it was cool, before it got too hot. There was not a cloud in the sky on Monday hiking Mount St. Helens, and we put on suntan lotion, but it was still plenty warm. And normally it's like a 5 hours up, 3 hours down kind of trip. This was a 6 hours up, 4 hours down kind of trip, because it was hot and generally miserable.
An extra 2 hours is a lot of time.
It's 10 miles of climbing stairs, but all told, you get to the top. My boy, for the first time, got to see the lava dome. Got to see it wasn't as active as it has been in past years. There's a little bit of a steam vent coming. You could see one. You could see Rainier up north towards Seattle, crystal clear. So the benefits to it being no clouds in the sky and hot. Mount Adams, Rainier. Hood was kind of hazy in the background. There was a little bit of clouds around Hood, but you could see forever in every direction. So that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome
to do that with my boy. And then I think Saturday, continuing backwards, Saturday, I got frustrated enough with things going on that I figured out how to install Pi-hole on my Synology in a Docker container so that I could point my router at the Pi-hole for DNS, so I could just capture data for a little while.
Had some weird stuff going on in your house that you wanted to see, like what was going on?
Yes, I had some weird stuff I wanted. So I turned it on for a little bit, stored the data, and I have not been able to get back to it yet. But I now can flip a switch, and everything going through the house will go through the Pi-hole for however long I want it to, and then I can flip the switch back, and we're back to regular. So more details to come on the Pi-hole. And then going backwards to Friday night, I mentioned last week about my Rocket League gold farts.
Right.
I participated in a Twitch stream.
Okay.
Which my oldest daughter, who's kind of the gamer, bragging is not the right word. It was more commenting to her friend group about her dad, who plays Rocket League and is on Twitch.
Look at you. You're so hip.
They thought that was pretty cool. I know. I'm one of the cool kids now.
That's right.
Anyways, but if you want to go see what Rocket League is about and then see me playing, it was a game. They they did just random things for game mode. So it wasn't the regular game. It was like a super big ball, and because you can modify all sorts of stuff in the game if you want for private games. So our game mode was different than other people's, but we'll put the link in for the Twitch stream. And if you want to see me, it's hour and 13 minutes into the stream. There's my game.
Did you win?
Yeah, we played 2 games. We lost the first one, won the second one, and I think, if I remember right, I was the MVP of the second one. So,
okay,
yay me.
Go Eric.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Okay.
And going back further, last week's podcast night. So
there you go.
There's a history of Eric over the last week in reverse order.
Well, speaking of network stuff, I think while I was in, because I was traveling last week, but while I was away, I was like, you know what, heck with it. I'm just gonna buy a I think they're Unify Dream Machine, the all-in-one bigger gateway, and that has everything. So, fine. Yes, I now have a machine in my barn that's running Java. But it will at least update automatically to the new console, because I've just had it's totally doable. I shouldn't complain. I can do it, but I've had the console running in a container on my QNAP for the last couple years. And okay, fine, it works most of the time. But, upgrading it, at least for me, maybe there's an easier way to do this. But for me, I would export the config, go download the latest container, start it up, load my config, and be done. That was my process. But I only did it every, 6 months. So every time it was kind of like, oh, that's right. Okay. Which container is it? Yeah. It's this one. I got to where I was trying to name my containers so that I remembered because I the first couple times I did not in between. But anyway, I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to try and throw a little more money at the problem. So far this week at work, at least, I've had people telling me, oh, your video is not 8-bit. That's cool. So, and the new console at least has a way you can do an automatic speed test every night. So I haven't set it up with both internet accesses for me, so it's not in failover mode yet. It's just with Starlink. And so far I'm getting between 60 and 100 generally, which for instead of the 5 that I was getting. So
yeah.
And I still don't truly know why the other gateway, because I was trying to debug it. This is before I went on the trip last week. I'm sitting there. I unplugged everything else from my network except for one access point. So I wasn't actually wired into the gateway, but one access point and the I guess it was a gateway, a switch, and an access point. And
sounds like the beginning of a nerd joke.
Right?
A gateway, a switch, and an access point walk into a bar.
A barn, because that's where they are. They're in my barn. Sorry.
There you go.
But anyway, but I was I'm right there. And so it literally goes from the Starlink antenna to the, Starlink has a network splitter. You have to pay an extra $25 or whatever to get so that you can have an Ethernet port into the gateway. And and Starlink is putting out its own Starlink, or a Wi-Fi network on the Starlink network, 60 plus. On my network, 5. There's nothing different here. Now, I don't know, the unified gateways, this is kind of maybe interesting, or Ubiquiti gateways, it's just an edge router light, I think. They're really small, like a couple decks of cards, really. And I don't know exactly why. They're hot. That, both it and the switch that are out there, I have them just mounted on the beam. They're hot. You can't leave your finger on it for long. So I don't know. Is that correlated? I have no idea. Whatever. I replaced it. Seems like it's better. I don't like things that I can't actually explain that this is why it's better. And so I'm a little frustrated on that. But I shouldn't, I'm a beggar, so I shouldn't be a chooser. So anyway, but I have a new Unified Dream Machine sitting out there, And so far, so good. And the nice thing about that is that everything's built into it, so it automatically updates the, they used to call them a cloud key for the Unify console that, whatever. Okay, anyway, that's a lot about the fact that I also did some networking this week, or this past weekend. Mm-hmm. And so far, so good. So far, so good.
Nice. That kind of segues right into your follow-up.
It does indeed. So I saw that Krebs posted an update about the Ubiquiti article that he posted, and we talked a little bit about last year, but I think we talked about it a couple times because the person responsible for the breach turned out to be an insider, if you remember. So, Krebs just posted a thing to his site that said, I'm just going to read. It's not very long. It was just a couple sentences. Last year, I posted a series of articles about a purported, quote, breach at Ubiquiti. My sole source for that reporting was the person who has since been indicted by federal prosecutors for his alleged wrongdoing, which includes providing false information to the press. As a result of the new information, I no longer have faith in the veracity of my source or the information he provided to me. I always endeavor to ensure that my articles are properly sourced and factual. This time I missed the mark, and as a result, I would like to extend my sincerest apologies to Ubiquiti and have decided to remove those articles from my website. So, as somebody who is a Ubiquiti user, I do not think that they are all rainbows and unicorns, because it is somewhat frustrating. But they're also, I don't know. I don't have another prosumer source that is, as far as I can tell, anywhere nearly as good.
Okay.
I'm maybe I'm not Ubiquiti's greatest fan, but I'm certainly not a detractor, and I'm glad to sort of see that. So there you go.
All right.
Let's get into topics. What'd you bring me tonight?
All right. So I think I teased this one last week.
You did,
because it had just broke that day. But there is the Twitter whistleblower, and the article will link from CNN. It just kind of covers it in general. There's a lot more detailed articles elsewhere if you just Google Twitter whistleblower, or just look for the hashtag whistleblower on Twitter itself. You will find all sorts of articles about the Twitter whistleblower. But anyways, there's a report that a former Twitter head of security filed a whistleblower disclosure with the government, and basically was not very nice to Twitter about their security and privacy. Mudge Zatko, he's .mudge on Twitter. He's well known in the security industry.
Yep.
I think we've even talked about him before. Yep. But in the disclosure, he alleges that the company has serious security and privacy vulnerabilities that could put users, investors, and U.S. national security at risk. He also alleged that Twitter executives have misled regulators and even the company's own board about its shortcomings. I want to say we actually talked about him when they hired him at Twitter. He hasn't been at Twitter that long.
No. After the 2020 breach, where they had famous accounts tweeting cryptocurrency scams.
But he's got 200 pages of disclosure with exhibits, and it was sent to several government agencies. And you can bet that government is going to start looking into it. For example, the Senate Intelligence Committee has a copy, and they're digging into it. The subcommittees on consumer protection, the FTC, even our senator from Oregon, Ron Wyden, renewed calls to Twitter to protect its users' direct messages from prying eyes with secure end-to-end encryption. So not a good day to be in the C-suite at Twitter, or not a good week, I guess, to be in the C-suite at Twitter. And on top of all this, Elon Musk, who is supposed to be purchasing Twitter, is dropping this on top of everything else, saying, "Well, here's another reason why I shouldn't be held responsible for buying."
He's trying to wiggle out of the paying $1 billion exit or whatever it's called when you sever a contract.
Lots of fun stuff going on with Twitter. The CNN article is pretty good. Just kind of gives an overview of all the Twittery things. If you want to see specifics, you can go to.
What happens when you fire the security guy for telling you what you should be doing and you ignoring him, and he knows that what he's telling you is legally required.
Well, yeah. I mean, alleging that Twitter executives misled regulators and the company's own board. That's not a good look.
Yeah, I haven't actually read the or looked at the any filings.
So that was my first one, kind of a pseudo follow on, call it a follow on note. My second one, John, are you a Plex user? You're a Plex user.
I have been in history, but for the last year, Plex does not like to start on the not Synology. What do I have? A QNAP. And because I don't know if you remember, like 2 years ago, we talked about it on the podcast at some point. I actually had to go in and change how it started up. But you know what? At the time, it was sudoing in to change a startup script, if I remember. But it overwrote it the next time there was an app update and then broke it again.
Right.
And so, what are you gonna do? Like a you're gonna put a cron entry to go do a seds command to edit the startup script whenever they go and update it. I know it's possible, but like I shouldn't have to do that kind of crap. Anyway, so and regardless, So anyway, I used to be a Plex user. Yes, I have a Plex account. I did actually see this article.
You got the email?
I don't. The thing is, I don't remember an email. So let me actually look at my.
I did get an email, and Plex is one of those
action
things
required. Important notice of a potential data breach.
Yeah, it was So first off, hat tip to Plex. It was a very well written. This is what happened. This is what you should do. Here's what we know. Here's what we're investigating. Please go reset your password. So that was all great, and they're doing all the right things. The kicker for me, I mean, they even gave instructions on step by step. Here's what you have to do to go. They are forcing everybody to reset their passwords. I went that night to try to reset my password. Server failure.
Ooh.
Their email was so good at informing people on what to do. When everybody went to do it, it crashed their servers. I don't know if that's actually what happened, but I could not get it to happen. And so I was trying to do it like at 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night before I went to bed, and never try to change passwords when you're not quite awake.
Even with one password?
I mean, fortunately, well, that's what I'm saying. Fortunately, 1Password kept a history of the passwords I kept trying so that I could go back and, because 1Password will keep your password history when you save it.
Yeah.
So I had to, the next morning, so I couldn't do it that night before, and anyways, so the next morning I go reset the password. You need to give your old password, to go through the steps. I mean, there's also the send me a link that wasn't showing up for me last night. Uh-huh. I had like 5. Here's the links that have now, that last 4 hours. Uh-huh. They're now all expired. So I got it all figured out the next morning, but the night of was a little frustrating. But anyways, if you have a Plex account and you have not been paying attention to your email, like some people I know, you should
guilty as charged.
Change your Plex passwords. And you can read the article in our Studying for the details, but it's like what happens now. But at least they seem to do. You're holding your phone up to the screen. I know. I can't read. What's that? 30,000? 130,000?
Is it? Oh, it's still not focusing.
143,000.
That's right.
Unread emails on John's phone.
Yeah.
I want you all.
I am not a red badge. I'm not I refuse to let the red badges badger me.
Well, I think I mentioned my solution for that is I go into the Gmail app online and I just mark everything red, and then I either archive it, and then after it's been around for, I think I'm on a 3-year cycle, after I just delete everything older than 3 years. So my Gmail account stays pretty much.
Really? Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
John wants to see who he emailed in 2002.
I do.
It's all good.
Like, whatever. Someday I'm going to have to write an autobiography and I'll have every single email. I don't know. It's all good. I don't care. Anyway.
All right. So those are my articles for this week.
Well, I need to go reset my Plex password.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Eric. Giving me work to do. All right. Where's our notes?
I wonder how many articles I've chosen over the years where it's like, now, John, this is what you need to go to. And I selected this article just for you.
Right? I appreciate that. It's okay. I can take it. All right. So my first article is, I don't know if it's follow-up, but it's related to what I think was your topic two episodes ago. I love the title, reminiscent of meat. I think we were talking about what was it, fake bacon, mushroom bacon?
Yes, mushroom stem meat bacon. It's reminiscent of meat.
That is not the highest accolades you could give. Anyway, in that episode, we talked about the Cloudflare and Twilio breaches or attempted breaches. So Krebs had an article. So it was the Krebs article about Ubiquiti that I happened to be out on site, saw this one too. I was like, oh, hey, kind of related, because there were a bunch of companies that they attempted to get into. They actually even called it Octa something. What did they call it? Octopus was the campaign name that they called. Anyway, I don't think I had realized, it probably was in the previous article, but since these were targeted attacks to phishing sites, what they were doing was if anybody clicked and then entered credentials on the phishing site, the site was posting the creds and one-time passwords to a Telegram channel where another bot was picking it up and trying to actually log into the sites. So, Telegram was what was used as kind of the, I don't know, command and controls may be too strong, but a relay channel. And since the creds to the Telegram channel were in the phishing sites, security researchers could go and look at the messages that were posted to the Telegram channel,
right,
to see who was potentially breached. And some funny things in here, like, clearly not all employees were duped into this. One of the funny things in here is that it said that the first message on the Telegram channel was for somebody whose username was evidently "have fun in jail."
Yeah.
So, okay, well done, whoever you were. So, what did it say? So this is it says this data trove was first reported by security researchers at Singapore-based Group IB, which dubbed the campaign Octopus. And I read a good chunk of their article, which was quite long. So I'm not going to post that in here. I'm going to post the Krebs link, but you can get to the Group IB article from there if you want. It said that the same group, let's see, so what does it say? So T-Mobile was in, they had particular success targeting T-Mobile. They were trying to target employees of all the major wireless providers, but most especially T-Mobile. And it says between July 10th and 16th, dozens of T-Mobile employees fell for the phishing messages because they were setting up these sites that were had the company name in it along with something else. So what was one of them? They were, maybe they were only in the pictures, but it was something like T-Mobile-Octa.com or something like that.
Right.
They set it up as soon as it worked, as soon as they could get the site responding at all, they would then spam out the phishing links and try and get people going before, the sites were, flagged as malicious or anything else. So anyway, and they targeted a lot of providers that use contract workers. And in the SMS messages, there was a lot about, your schedule has changed. Click here to see your new schedule, that kind of thing. Right. And right. It included things with the company name generally. And, it was maybe not spear phishing if that's for, single high ranked execs, but pretty closer to spear phishing than, spray and pray kind of things. So anyway, so Krebs has a longer article here with a lot more information about it. But the other thing I kind of really wanted to pull out here and put a put a exclamation point next to, is the companies that used hardware tokens were generally not affected. So that was the case at Cloudflare, which there's a whole nother thing going on about Cloudflare at the moment, by the way. I don't know if you've seen some of that stuff, but other thing was Twitter. When that 2020 breach happened, we mentioned earlier, Twitter went to using security tools. It says they accelerated its plans to improve employee authentication by forcing, or not forcing, by moving to hardware tokens. And so the quote here is, security keys can differentiate legitimate sites from malicious ones and block phishing attempts that SMS, two-factor authentication, or one-time password verification codes do not. Twitter said October 21 post about the change. So that's back then.
Yep.
To deploy security keys internally at Twitter, we migrated from a variety of phishable two-factor authentication methods to using security keys as our only supported two-factor authentication method on internal systems.
I wonder what the whistleblower disclosure, I wonder if that agrees with this.
Oh, look at you binding the things together. Is that the truth, or is that don't look at the OTPs behind the curtain? Okay, that's a good.
I don't know.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know either.
All right,
but get your FIDO device.
I still love my Ubiquiti.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull my keys out here. I don't. Did yours I forget. Mine has totally it still works.
The smaller one falls apart.
It totally fell apart. I don't know if you can see that.
That one totally falls apart. I'm very irritated with that one. I have a new USB-C flat one.
Okay.
Which works awesome and does NFC.
Oh.
So it's a flat paddle. I will show you. This is great.
This is great podcasting thing. I'm holding up. I'm holding up a completely fractured thing that you can see the green circuit board underneath it.
The lightning port. So the nice one that you have has USB-C on one side and lightning on the other. That one was crap.
Yeah.
Boo Ubiquiti. And I've had the smaller ones are just fall apart. These flat paddle ones, thicker ones, I've had zero problem with on my keychain. I love those. And the NFC ones work with your phones too. So
okay,
I would advise avoiding the dual-ended USB-C Lightning one. If you're going to actually use that on a keychain, you carry with you all the time
because it gets beat up in your pocket and will completely fall apart. And it falls apart.
All the little plastic bits fall off.
Yep. It does seem to still work, but okay.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, that was very interesting. Sidebar. That's exciting. We should totally leave that in.
Sidebar.
Okay. Second article. How you feeling about crypto these days? Feeling pretty good?
Web3 is going great.com has not run out of material.
Right. Well, here's another one. So they have Bitcoin ATMs. I don't know that you've seen one of these.
I don't understand the concept of a Bitcoin ATM. Isn't that also known as your laptop or your phone?
Well,
because the point of an ATM is to acquire money
or to transact.
I give you something, you give me money, right?
Correct.
What does it spit out? Bits?
Well, I think it spits out real currency. I assume if you give it a millionth of a Bitcoin, it'll give you your 26 cents or whatever it is.
Oh, so it's a Bitcoin ATM that's a conversion tool.
It says you could deposit or withdraw. Let's see. It says, I don't know.
So you're telling me I can take $40 in cash that I happen to have on me because everybody still carries cash. I can walk to a machine or drive to a machine, plug that through like a Coke machine, and then it will credit some Bitcoin account for me. Bitcoin, I don't understand the whole. I just don't understand the whole concept. Of Bitcoin.
There
ATM.
Are pictures in the article that appear to be the sort of things that will both accept and dispense money and take credit cards. So let's pretend you have a credit card and you're like, you know what I want to do? I want to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. I presume you can go up to this thing and put in a credit card and say, hey, give me $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Now, where that wallet is, I don't know how that actually works. Because
it spits out a USB stick as your. I don't understand.
You are not the target market for this. This is for somebody other than you. However,
who? My mom?
Well,
is this is how I go do my ransomware payment? I go put my credit card in this machine, type in the code that the ransomware guy gave me.
Or, this is Chad down the street. Giga Chad wants to buy some Bitcoin because Giga Eric invested in Ethereum when Ethereum was $2, and now Ethereum is $1,200 or $1,800 or whatever the hell Ethereum is these days. And Giga Chad wants to be like Eric. So,
if your name is Chad, on behalf of the Mostly Security Podcast, I apologize.
It's like a meme, isn't it? Isn't it a meme? I'm not hip. I'm not a Twitch.
All Bitcoin bros are named Chad. Yes, all Bitcoin bros are named Chad.
I am not a Twitch streamer like my friend Eric. I am not cool. I understand this. I don't. It's fine. Anyway, all I'm saying is there is such a thing as a Bitcoin ATM. You know what? Okay, I think that you and I probably have a mission to find one of these things and see how to use it. That would be interesting. Here, I'm going to give you 25 cents.
Oh my goodness.
I want 25 cents in Ethereum.
Thank goodness.
Okay, regardless.
All right, sorry. We've totally sided. This is an article on what again?
Okay.
What is the point of this article again?
The point of this article is that these Bitcoin ATMs had a 0 day in their management software and they were exposed to the internet. And so the good old fashioned crypto hacker dudes, whoever they are, went and said, you know what? When you try and transact via this ATM, I would really like the money to go into my wallet instead of the general
Chad's account.
Yeah. So
send it to Hacker Dude instead of Chad. Sorry, Chad, no Bitcoin for you.
Exactly. So here you go. So that's the whole point, is that it says, and I quote, hackers have exploited a 0 day vulnerability in General Byte's Bitcoin ATM servers to steal cryptocurrency from customers. When customers would deposit or purchase cryptocurrency via the ATM, the funds would instead be siphoned off by hackers.
Of course they would.
Yeah. So
that you started early on the something fun.
No. I have things much more fun than this.
I didn't think we transitioned yet.
Things much more fun than this. Oh, you're killing me, man. Okay. It is very late, and I have had a long day. And this is very amusing to me, but I'm trying not to be totally yeah.
I'm sorry, Chad, for your loss of Bitcoin at the ATM.
Exactly. So, what else to say about this? I guess, so it says the attackers were able to create an admin user remotely via the administrative interface, via a call on the page that's used for the default installation. So basically, I don't know, /install dot I don't know. It's probably PHP. Sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say it. Anyway, whatever. So they hit a URL, created an admin user, totally edited the pages to send the data or send the money to their own wallets instead of Chad's. So, General Bytes suggests that users of these ATMs. So do you get paid to host an ATM somewhere? I don't know how this works. You should deploy their 2 patches that actually fix this issue before allowing people to use the ATMs anymore. Anyway, I'm sorry. Now you've totally lost me here.
Oh my goodness.
I am not looking at my notes anymore. I'm actually just looking at the article. Oh, and because clearly wherever these were configured, they were able to be accessed. The administrative interface was able to be accessed by random IP addresses. So they weren't even firewalled so that they could be only managed by a known IP. So, yeah, it is what it is. A bleeping computer, which is the article we'll post here. Bleeping computer contacted General Bytes yesterday with further questions about the attack, but did not receive a response. So, there you go.
So many jokes.
Okay. I do not know where one would find a Bitcoin ATM, but I'm sure that it's around somewhere.
I'm sure you could Google it. Probably one in downtown.
Maybe the nearest 7-Eleven. Ooh, I was driving and I had to wait for a guy to cross the street.
Sidebar.
This is totally sidebar. Cross the street in front of me today, and it was really hot today. He had like a 96-ounce Slurpee, and I was just like, I don't even remember the last time I had a Slurpee, but I kind of have a hankering for a Slurpee.
Did you go get a Slurpee?
No, I did not have time to get a Slurpee, but I still want one. This has nothing to do with anything other than that I think that a 7-Eleven is a good place that you'd probably find a Bitcoin ATM. No? You don't think so?
All right.
I don't know.
I'm good with that.
Okay. How about something else that's fun?
I think we should just end there. That's hilarious.
What'd you no, that was not my something fun. I have things that are way more fun and will cause way less laughter.
My something fun is certainly less fun and less funny and less fun, I suppose. So I remember we've talked about smaller nuclear reactors in the past, and I think one of them was even my something fun a while ago.
Yeah.
On like one that
I remember thinking that
like would fit on the back of a truck bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a semi.
That they'd bury up in like Alaska for some of the remote villages.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. Well, this one is now the first small modular nuclear reactor design that has been approved by U.S. regulators. So everything else has just been
hypotheticals.
This one is actually designed. And the nice thing for us local folks here in Oregon, this is an Oregon-based energy company, NuScale Power, has the first small modular reactor design used for use in the U.S. by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So, but apparently it had already passed its all final safety evaluation checks back in 2020, but now it's officially approved. And it's based on a design developed at Oregon State University in the early 2000s
Go
called
Beavers.
the Multi-Application Small Light Water Reactor.
Math
now, this
lore.
is how small it is.
They don't know how to do acronyms. Okay.
This is how small it is. It is 76 feet tall.
That's not
and
small.
15 feet wide.
That's not small.
And it can generate enough power. It can generate 50 megawatts of energy.
Ooh.
So yes, 76 feet tall and 15 feet wide is not small. It's smaller than other traditional nuclear reactors.
Yes, I will.
But yeah, that's still 7-story building, but only 15 feet. It's like a grain silo, right? That's kind of how I picture it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this will work.
50
but what
megawatts.
it is modular so that it can you can combine multiples of these together. And so what they're saying is they'll combine 12 of these reactors together to achieve similar outputs to conventional, right?
Huh.
And it's got a bunch of novel safety features to avoid some of the types of disasters that have scared people off of it before. So this is my something fun.
This is cool.
I, for one, am happy to see alternative ways to generate energy that don't involve burning fossil fuels. And if we can figure out ways to properly store the waste, I think this one talks about it generates less nuclear waste as well. So
interesting.
Here.
Yes.
Continue on. So go read that. Okay. It's on a website called Singularity Hub.
I have another tangent. We're probably running long, but I have another tangent.
I'll laugh at it.
I have a friend who's going to build a plane, and evidently with the FAA, if you are if you build your own plane and you spend like 51% of the effort to build it, it can be an experimental aircraft. And then you can do your own maintenance. And you can use like modern electronics, even though they're not FAA certified. So I was having like the conversation here of like, I get like the attraction for the sort of non it takes a decade or so to get like all the FAA certification. And so like by the time it's certified, it's out of date. And like you're using the 7-inch non-touch panels instead of, the nice, like,
right.
Essentially a Tesla kind of thing.
iPads or whatever.
But you kind of don't want to die. It's kind of like where my stand.
There's higher risk of death on failure at 10,000 feet than there is
when you're in the air
driving down the road if there's a failure.
Yeah. So, so the way that's related is how do you build and test these? Like
nuclear reactors?
Yeah. Like who's doing the actual testing and verification in order to get the the design approved?
I'm sure it's all computer simulation.
No. You think?
I'm sure they built a 76-foot 15. They either went down Farmer John and borrowed his silo, or they built one, I'm sure, somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know that they've probably tested it, but they probably tested with lower. I don't know. I'm just making crap up now.
Yeah. I'm just like, I feel like you got to actually like have a working model somewhere. But like nuclear is not the sort of thing that your just average Joe on the street's going to be going and playing around with. So I don't know. I'd like to know that. Because I tell you,
if I see a 76-foot silo in your house,
yeah, 50 megawatts is more than I need. I will say that one of my great regrets of life, which is not to say that I particularly have that great a regret for it, I guess, but when I was in undergrad, my physics class went to Reed College to mess around with their nuclear reactor on like a field trip. Because as far as I know, Reed College is one of the only small nuclear reactors around the Northwest, at least. And I never got to do that. And I wish that I had. That would have been fun. I missed that. I don't remember how or why or where I was or at the time, but I know that I missed it. I bet I could go take a tour of Reed College these days. Ooh, maybe I could pretend one of my kids wants to go to college tonight. Anyway.
My kid wants to study physics. Can we see the nuclear reactor?
All right. My something fun. Because I actually brought two. Although the first one's super, super small. I don't know if you saw this or not. And also, it's totally visual, so it'll be awesome for audio. It is
clicking the link right now.
It is.
And it's a video.
It's a video. But it is solving mazes by soft body physics. It's basically, if you've got some maze that picture, on a piece of paper that you have, try and figure it out. They basically just take the beginning and the end of the maze and then pull it apart, and with all of the joints behaving kind of like the floppy air people at car lots, and the correct path through the maze will be the path through the middle, because it will stretch out. So you can solve a maze.
That's fun.
You can solve a maze with soft body physics. Anyway,
that's funny.
I thought that was cool. So I'll, or actually, I guess you're editing this week. You could put the link in here to the video. There you go. So that's my first something fun. It's just really small, but I thought that was really cool. My real something fun is more about James Webb Space Telescope confirms the presence of carbon dioxide. This is what you bought a monitor for last week instead of carbon monoxide.
Correct.
In a exoplanet.
12:05 in the office right now because I got the doors closed. It's now over on the warning label, so I need to go open some doors.
Okay. You feeling sleepy?
Maybe that's why I've been laughing
feeling sleepy?
so much.
Oh, you're feeling giddy. Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Sidebar. the tonight has been an interesting one. Okay, so this is a planet called WASP 39b. It is called a hot Jupiter because it is a similar diameter to Jupiter, but it orbits its star more closely than Mercury. So it's very close, very hot. But and they had let's see, it said they had data from the Spitzer Space Telescope which suggested that the atmosphere might contain carbon dioxide, but the results were inconclusive. You can look at the chart from the James Webb Space Telescope, which we'll post here, and it is clear as a bell. In fact, they said, oh, there it is. She says we've had hints of it before, but this is the first time it's really been a punch you in the face kind of detection. So, because what they did was, they faced James Webb at the star, or that the planet, well, I guess at the star that the planet was traversing in front of, and they can look at what wavelengths of light are getting absorbed. And there is a complete spike at the wavelength of carbon dioxide. So the planet has carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, almost certainly. So there you go. And,
once again, very cool.
It said I'm not looking at the article, I'm looking at my notes, which I didn't pull out of this, but it said that they're supposed to look at something like 70 to 80 planets this first year. And of course, over the lifetime, it'll look at hundreds of planets. So this is the first of the data for the, I think, I don't know if this is the first planet that it looked at, but like the first, oh, hey, here you go.
I would love to see another Earth-sized planet. That would be fun.
They're going to be looking, it says that, again, I didn't pull that part out, but it did say they're going to be looking at rocky planets as well.
I look forward to more something fun James Webb telescopes in the future.
I think that there will be many. We've already done like 4 or 5 of them, it seems like.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there will be more. So there you go. Punch us in the face. Give us more data. There you go. Something fun. I'm not sure any of those somethings fun were caused as much laughter as the Bitcoin ATM. But there you go.
I'm gonna let it lie. I had some more
dog.
Bitcoin jokes, but let's just go.
It's a sleeping dog.
Already long enough tonight.
There you go. All right, my friend.
Have a good night, John.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
We'll see you. Bye.